withdraw the money and he may harm you actually. The credit card related information definitely we won't share with anybody. Wherever the government is involved, the strategic planning of government want to keep it secret from the individual till the point when it was not announced actually. If you see the when budget preparation will going on, full team in Ministry of Finance, they will go underground for a week. At that time, they are not allowed to commit anywhere actually. No information should be leaked. Once budget is announced, everyone knows actually. But before announcement, no one should know what is that is the part of planning. And the diplomatic talk, the talk between two head of state or head of the army, whoever is talking between two countries actually. That is also be supposed to be the secret information. So this is the basic motivation why what types of there may be many more other secrets also, but basically in government setup it is become government secret and they call the secret but not sensitive and a lot of in the secret also there are a lot of classification is there. Ministry of Home Affairs has given some classification they call the restricted, confidential, secret, and top secret. All there are four classification. In the four classification, the cover time of information that is not discussed in the open literature. Cover time basically means how long you want to cover the information. Suppose some information is confidential. You want to cover up to 5 year, 10 year, or 15 year, or 20 year. That is called the cover time of information. Actually, if you know that India-China war report was submitted by the Hudson and Hook, that committee has submitted. Till date, it is not classified actually. Actually, it is not unclassified. It is classified information. It is supposed to be top secret information. So the life of top secret information can be vary from 50 year to 100 year. And same time, if you see the report concerning the Subhash Chandra Bose related information, that is become unclassified recently. So the cover time of information you need to be decide based on your what like health informations are there. I don't want to know anyone should know my the health information what I am having, what problem I am having. So that cover time of health information should be it is a till life of individual, maybe 100 year, maybe 90 year, maybe 80 year. So there are so many parameters are coming in this actually the security, not only the classification and the cover time. For these, how one should choose the primitive, either maybe the extreme cipher or block cipher or any other type of one-time pad. And over and above, the cyber world is having different phenomena, as the side channel related information and so many things are there. But here we will purely discuss the block cipher, which is used in cyber security everywhere. If you see the AES or DS or any other cipher. Although it is used in conjunction with the mode, at the they will Galva counter mode or CBC mode. Mode part we will discuss in the second lecture. So when Alice, there are two funny characters in cryptography. They called Alice and Bob. You can say A and B. When Alice and Bob want to communicate something, and if dropper is sitting in between, he and she can capture the information what they are communicating with each other. How that eavesdropper basically means someone is eavesdropping. Suppose you are staying in house near your window, someone is standing and you don't know someone is standing and just he is Eve actually. He is that means a raindrop is not coming on his body, but he is confined in your house zone. So that eavesdropper is a passive adversary. We are not talking about the active adversary. The adversary enter in your house and then destroy something. Here, as of now, we are discussing the passive adversary. Once you have the secure channel between Alice and Bob, eavesdropper or adversary, the passive adversary will not able to harm you. Although if some active adversary is there, he can block the channel, he can modify the information. There are so many things are possible. and practical scenario, this is possible you are going to deal with the active adversary, not the passive adversary. So we have to be ready for taking care of active adversary as well as the passive adversary. Both have their own importance in the cryptography and in cryptographic protocol. This is the model given by the Shannon in 1949. He told if you want to share the information between A and B, you have to share some secret information first. Otherwise, without this is the secret information which is going in this part through secure channel. If this secure channel is not available for short while, there is no way of sending secret information from X to Alice to Bob or person A to B. You have to have availability of secure channel. Either it may be for short while or it may be depend on availability. That secure channel need not be the communication channel or communication line. It can be the trusted courier or it can be diplomatic courier. Though trusted courier is applicable within the territory of the country. Harving it is India. Suppose you have the diplomatic talk that there are two different countries are involved. India, America, Russia, China, then your the secret channel may be the diplomatic courier. By that you can transfer the key, and that is called the secure channel. And this is the public channel. Anyone can monitor it, and the cryptanalysis is possible at this point. Anyone can do the cryptanalysis of the from the ciphertext. This depend on the availability of information. What type of information are available to the adversary, and adversary can harm you based on the availability of information. The source message is X. You are using the encryption algorithm. This encryption algorithm encrypt the message X, and Y is called the ciphertext that we will discuss, and this is the plain text. And decryption algorithm will decrypt the ciphertext to the plain text. This is the destination. And the adversary sitting in between, if it is active or passive, you don't know. But you have to model the adversary before the start of the communication. And the source, the most importantly, from where your keys are getting generated, this matters a lot in a practical world. If key is not random or key is predictable, that is not going to make your cipher secure. So key has to be generated in unpredictable manner. That means we must use some random number generator. Either it may be the classical random number generator or maybe the quantum random number generator. Symmetric key basically means Alice and Bob both are sharing the same key. In a symmetric cryptography, Alice and Bob are having different key. But here we are discussing only the symmetric cryptography where Alice and Bob have the same key. Alice is sending Alice and Bob's keys are same, and whatever information Alice is sending to Bob, and it is just we are saying A to B. Same thing applies from B to A. Alice can send information to the Bob, and Bob can also send information to the Alice. It is a both way. It is not the one way communication. It is a duplex channel. What is the cryptography? Cryptography is the process of designing secure system. When you are designing the secure system, one need to know what is the requirement of the system, what is the deployment scenario of the system. Suppose some system is deployed in the Government of India office. It is well within the territory of the India, somewhere in Delhi. Then that the deployment scenario is different from the system deployed on the border actually. In the border also we have different types of border covering the area of Pakistan, border covering the China, border covering the Nepal or Bhutan. These neighboring countries are having different capability, and your adversary model is going to change. Who is your adversary? Individual is your adversary, or your nation is your adversary. In the nation, which nation is your adversary? So here a lot of consideration is needed while designing the secure system. Cryptographic definition, theoretical definition says it is a process of designing secure system. And the classical definition was when we are dealing just encryption and decryption. Now, cryptography is not the encryption, decryption. More than that, we need to do. It is the art and science of encryption. That was the old description. If you can see the any old literature, the definition is there. Cryptanalysis is the breaking a secure system. When we thought of the cryptanalysis, when people are thinking the cryptanalysis, your adversarial models here matters a lot. Who's your adversary? And what kind of computational facility your adversary has, and what is the information you are want to make the secure, and how long you want to make it secure. That is become the life of information. And the cryptology is the cryptographic plus cryptanalysis. Thus, we discuss the plain text. Plain text is the unencrypted message or information that we wish to send to the Bob, or you can say the message in original form. It is called the plain text. And ciphertext is unencrypted message, or we can say it is an unintelligible form of the message. That means you can't make out, although it is a definition, but if you have the encrypted ciphertext in English language, definitely with some effort you can make it out what it is. And also depend on the what types of encryption algorithm is used. Encryption function is encrypting the information with a specific key. When we talk about the encryption function, this has a given key. If you change the key, your encryption function will change. In case of block cipher, things like that. Decryption function is decrypt the ciphertext. From ciphertext, we will derive the plain text with the given key. The key which is used for the encryption, the same key has to be used for the decryption, or the derived key from the encryption key. The encryption key and decryption key relation matters a lot in symmetric cryptography. Both can be same, or one can derive from encryption key to decryption key. In symmetric cryptography, secret parameter used in encryption and decryption. That key is the key, and it is shared between Alice and Bob. Both Alice and Bob are sharing the key. In cryptography, we have that five tuple. They call the plain text P, ciphertext C, key K. EK is the encryption function, and DK is the decryption function. Encryption function is encrypting the message using the key K. That's why it is EK. And DK is the inverse of the encryption function. They call the EK inverse. You need the inverse function to decrypt the information. Otherwise, it is theoretically it is impossible to retrieve the information if your encryption function is not there. Encryption and decryption we already discussed there, and the important thing is that if you have a key size, your size is a k-bit key, your key space will be 2 to the power k. We will discuss if you have a key size is 128 bit in case of AES, then your key space is 2 to the power 128, and this is the important parameter in any cipher. How long you can keep the key. This is basically your implementation, how you want your implementation to be efficient, or your implementation to be fast enough, and the resource required for implementation. Key size and resource size, all these things are related that we will discuss in the coming part of life. Kirchhoff gave some famous principle. The security of cipher should rely on the secrecy of the key only. Attacker knows every detail of cryptographic algorithm except the key. Every detail of cryptographic algorithm is known. Key used in algorithm is not known. This was the principle given by the Kirchhoff, and this principle itself is looking incomplete actually. How we are going to the key generation, key distribution, and key management is very difficult. This is a different problem, but in actual on-ground scenario, managing the key in symmetric cryptography is very difficult. and you don't know your key is compromised or not, key is lost or not. The device in which key is present, someone had copied the keys or not, or the key, how long he can keep it secret. All those information become very vital when we are anyone is designing the actual crypto system. And the Kirchhoff principle says this is not applicable everywhere. Basically, in government organization, this is not applicable. People do that is a second level secret. Suppose your algorithm is also secret, then you are going to have both things. Your key is secret and algorithm is secret. But evaluation happen assuming that algorithm is known, only key is secret. Key generation, distribution, and management. This is going to be the different problem, and in this context, Kirchhoff has not told anything that is depend on individual system designer. What is the goal of cryptography? Which initially primary goal was the confidentiality. Now it is a confidentiality, integrity, authentication, anonymity. What is the confidentiality means the information what I'm sending for person B. Only person B will be knowing the information, no one else. That confidentiality of information is intact, and the authentication is the who's sending the information. Integrity means your message is not getting modified. That we will discuss it more. The anonymity is that I am doing something, but no one know I am doing that. So that is become anonymous. And in the modern era, anonymity is becoming more important, and the non-repudiation. If I am sending some information, tomorrow I can't deny I have not sent it. So there is a way to prove the non-repudiation. This can be done only using asymmetric cryptography. For symmetric cryptography, one can achieve the non-repudiation, but a lot of resources are required. You have to need one server. That server has to store the information shared between A and B with the time stamping. Tomorrow, if some dispute happen between A and B, some third party can come and see the server and decide that how it is. Then time stamping is become important when you are storing some information. And key scroll, it is a very important concept in government organization. Suppose person A is possessing that key. The person having the actual key, he is a transferer. He is not. He is no more. Then what it will do? The information encrypted by that key. So there is a higher up some in the chain, the second level authority. An authorized person is also holding the same key. So he or she will be using that key, and using that key scroll is a chip. And this is very much required in the actual scenario. Symmetric cryptography, sender and receiver uses the same key, or key that can easily be derived from one another. Sender and receiver are equivalent. There is no difference. Equivalent in the sense they having the equal. Anyone can send or anyone can receive. And symmetric cryptography is the oldest type of cryptography. This speed related issue is the best performance, highest security standard. Only disadvantage is the difficulty in key management. Practical cryptography, till now we were discussing the theoretical cryptography. In practical cryptography, short key is used to encrypt the long message. If your message and key is as long, both sides are same, then it is a concept they call the one-time pad, and that is a perfect secure. But here we are talking about the practical security, practical cryptography. In this case, key size is short, which is used to encrypt the long message. Perfect secrecy is not possible if your key size is smaller than the message. But in practical scenario, this is basically depend on the complexity theoretic approach. The attack possible on your cryptographic algorithm that needs a certain amount of resource, time, and storage. So based on that, people will decide what kind of practical security is required. Resistance against the cryptanalysis. This is also another requirement in the practical cryptography. And the human ignorance model. You have to model the human behavior, the person involved in the cryptography. What is the integrity of the individual? What is the psychology of the individual? He or she may be sharing information to the. You don't know that is also called the social engineering. The individual involved in the actual scenario, he or she may be sharing the information. That modeling becomes very difficult. That adversary can be internal adversary, internal to the organization, or internal to the deployment, or it can be external actually. So both model that depend actually in that. This is a some academic attack and real attack. Academic attack, you find the primitive behave suboptimal. That means, and real attack when you are breaking the cipher totally, when total cipher got broken. The example is any encryption algorithm was using 40-bit key. Nowadays, 40-bit to the power 40 possible keys are there. It can be tried using the brute force. So such types of attack called the practical attack. And encryption algorithm with 256-bit key can be recovered with a method that has complexity equivalent to 2 to the power 200 encryption or 2 to the power 200 operation. So this is actually not the real threat on the crypto algorithm. But although it is a problem in algorithm design, so this is not the practical attack. This is called the academic attack, and a lot of such attack you can find in the AES or other cipher. AES having 128-bit key, but someone using the byte click analysis, they can find the 126.2. That means the exhaustive search to the power 126.2. So you have reduced by 1.8 bit or 2 bit. So these attacks are having their own importance, but practically it is very difficult to get any practical information. Practical attack means that total breaking of cipher. It's in case of 40-bit, you can do the brute force search, or if it is a alphabetical cipher using A, B, C, D, or that can also be modeled in such an attack. And assumption on the attacker, that modeling your attacker is very important. The cryptanalysis, the person who's performing the cryptanalysis, we have to model that cryptanalysis. They call the ciphertext only attack. In case of ciphertext only attack, attacker knows the ciphertext of several messages. Ciphertext corresponding to the several messages he or she knows. Attacker's goal is guess the message first. An ultimate goal will be to guess the key used for the encryption of this cipher. So first, ciphertext only attack. Attacker get the ciphertext. This is a passive attack. Passively, I am monitoring the channel where the encrypted links are there. Using on that link, I will be sitting here, and I will be monitoring this link and storing that. I know only the ciphertext. This is a theoretical scenario. In practical scenario, we don't know. Given ciphertext, finding the plain text is very difficult. The ciphertext, when English language is there, there may be some voice, someone will be speaking. There will be the voice coding. That means you know the detail of the voice coder at that level. And what is the protocol used initially for the handshake? And actually, if you are monitoring this channel, you don't know from where that message is starting and that the demarcation of start and end of the message in the real scenario, that itself become problem. We don't know actually when message is starting and when message is stop. Suppose over and above your language is also changed. It is not English language. It is become Sanskrit, or it is become any other language which is very not known to most of the people. So that means the language barrier is involved in case of ciphertext analysis. Uh, First goal of adversary or attacker is to get the immediate benefit, that is retrieve some partial information from the ciphertext, and the ultimate goal of adversary to retrieve the key used for encrypting that plain text. If you once you retrieve the key, you can you can monitor or you can capture whole traffic encrypted using same key. Once key is changed, that is not going to work. But similar types of attack model will work here. In known plain text attack, attacker knows the ciphertext and plain text pair for several messages, and he or she will try to deduce the key or the algorithm to decrypt further the message. Chosen plain text, attacker can choose the plain text and get the encrypted there. That means chosen plain text adversary has more access. Adversary has access of your encryption oracle, oracle or encryption machine. He can choose the plain text of his own choice and can get the encrypted message. Attacker can choose the plain text and get the encrypted, thereby potentially getting more information about the key. So that has the chance of guessing the key. And chosen ciphertext, attacker obtained temporary access to the decryption machine in case of symmetric key cryptography. Encryption and decryptions are same. In asymmetric cryptography, your encryption oracle and decryption oracle are different. Encryption key and decryption key are different. The types of attack, I think Subhata sir has discussed some of them. This is a few of them. I'm just listing the brute force attack, time memory trade-off attack, algebraic attack. Algebraic attack is one of the deterministic attack. You can form the algebraic equation of your cipher. If you are able to solve that equation, you will get the key definitely. Linear cryptanalysis, differential cryptanalysis, correlation attack, key, but they are the statistical in nature. That key may not be the correct key, but if someone can model the algebraic attack and using that equation, definitely they are going to the nonlinear equation. From the nonlinear equation, there may be if one can solve that, you are going to get the key definitely. There is no uncertainty involved. But the linear cryptanalysis, differential cryptanalysis, all they are the statistical in nature. For that verification, you need large amount of data. And the algebraic cryptanalysis also it is needed. They call the system underlying and underdefined and overdefined system of equations. So these cryptanalysis they have their own benefit and it is possible to apply. The basically correlation attack is for the steam cipher. That origin authentication means Bob want to be sure that only Alice could have sent the message he received. Confidentiality keeping information secret from all but those who are authorized to see. Data integrity ensure the information that have not been altered by the unauthorized or unknown means. Non-repudiation. Alice cannot claim she did not send the message. Non-repudiation cannot be achieved simply, cannot be achieved by symmetric cryptography. For that, we need to do some more thing to achieve the non-repudiation. More